TCU is rolling, and in the process, they have run over Texas. 17-10 was the final. A lot of rules on other shows. You know, you listen to any given podcast out there, you watch any given show out there, a lot of rules. Not a lot of rules around here. No kicks to the groin, be home for dinner, don't lose to food, and Rice didn't play in this game. And we talk winners first. That's the other rule. So Texas is going to have to wait a second because TCU's kind of, sort of, absolutely running things out there right now. They have clinched a spot, have the Horned Frogs, in the Big 12 championship game. Sonny Dykes is in serious contention for all kinds of awards, including Head Coach of the Year. He's ruining the future, by the way, for a lot of head coaches. What I mean by that's pretty obvious. Normally, you want to sell your athletic director and your administration and your fan base that when I'm a new coach, I need you guys to give me 2 years minimum. Did I just get shorter, Colin? What happened? Did the chair get shorter? Anyway, I want you to give me 2 years minimum, maybe 3 years, and then what's going to happen, you know as well as I do, what's going to happen is the Sonny Dykes protocol is going to be put right in your face. The Sonny Dykes button is going to be pressed in every athletic department, and that's going to sound a little something like this. Well, he took TCU undefeated, maybe, to the conference championship game in year one. Well, he had TCU right there in the mix for the playoff around Thanksgiving in year one. Remind me again why with better resources and deeper pockets, we need more time and you need more time than him? Ruined it. Shame on Sonny Dykes. He's ruined this, but big credit to Sonny Dykes because he's getting things done there, and it's fun to watch because it's a team that wasn't supposed to be there. And it, yet again, just completely takes a bowling ball. It takes a sledgehammer to that tired, old, worn-out narrative that this was a sport for the few and the many were going to be left out there and the structure was built against you, and none of that's true. If you do things the right way, if you make the right hires, you don't even have to have the most talented rosters. They had the second most talented roster on the field last night, and they still got the job done. Texas was held to 199 yards last night. That is their lowest output since 2015, and that shocked me a little bit. If you were to have walked up to any of us, me, you, any one of us who watch this sport regularly, and you've seen Texas and you've seen TCU play, and you were to have asked us Friday, TCU's going to win, how many points do you think they need to win? I would have thought 31 was a good starting point because the talk around football circles about TCU all year long has been, oh, they won't go undefeated. And then when you press someone as to why, they'll say, oh, that defense is going to cost them. No, that defense actually won them a game last night. Not only did it not cost them, it actually was the beneficiary. It actually caused them to win a game where offense was not exactly humming along. Neither of them were. 31 points is what I thought they needed. In reality, 11 was all they would have needed. The model, let's just talk to the model right quick. A lot of you have been rubbed the wrong way about where Texas has been power rated in the JP poll. And it's not really technically wrong because Texas was favored last night. Now, as it turns out, it didn't matter. See, if we're trying to validate power ratings, it kind of ends at the beginning of that game. Then we want to calibrate and adjust. But as you know, I have had a very, very ugly, public, long-standing beef with the model when it comes to Texas. I, like you, have thought that the model had Texas overrated. And so this fool right here, and I'm holding up the model, the computer, for those of you listening on podcast, you, again, not only favored Texas by a touchdown, you favored them by 10.5. Remember, the model looked at Vegas and said, 7? Not even enough. Let's take them first half. Let's take them for the whole game. You are an idiot. I'm done with the model when it comes to Texas. Now, the model made us a lot of money yesterday. We went 9-4-1, and shame on Michigan, Jim Harbaugh. Shame on you kicking that field goal late. But we still profited. But when it comes to Texas, you are not to be trusted. This model is not to be trusted. Would just call it a virus, I guess, not to be trusted. Nothing can ever get rolling with this team. TCU's rolling. They're consistent. They win every week. Texas, you start to feel good. You know, they go to Kansas State and they beat a team that just hung half 100 on Oklahoma State. And what do? They come home. They're favored. Game days in town. 1 of 13 on third down. Padlock stat, 1 of 13 on third down. That is the worst percentage conversion rate on third down since 1996. The Olympics were in Atlanta that year. Young JP saw the flame come through Catawba, Georgia that year. The Braves should have won the World Series that year. The point is, anything I am talking about has to be watched on VHS because DVDs weren't even around yet. And that's how bad they were on third down last night. They had 28 yards rushing. Not on the first drive, not in the first quarter. This team, with Bijan Robinson on it, Roshan Johnson on it, had 28 total rushing yards against the TCU Horned Frogs. No offensive touchdowns in the second half for Texas the last 3 games, so I could go on and on and on. You know how highly I think of Steve Sarkisian. They are not performing very admirably. They certainly didn't last night. Now, here is where I differ with some. I had some of my Texas buddies texting me saying, we're screwed. I said, well, yeah, you are tonight, but what are you talking about specifically? They said, Arch was in town for this game. And I said, okay, and he's committed to you. Why wouldn't he be there? Well, yeah, you ain't going to commit. He ain't going to be committed for long, bro. And that's what they said to me. I said back to them, what? If anything, this reinforces that he's got an immediate shot to take over the day he steps on campus. Who is Arch Manning watching right now saying, I'm going to have to sit behind that cat for 2 years? Nobody. In fact, if you want a nice heated argument, walk into a room full of Texas fans and ask them, hey, at this point, Quinn or Hudson Card, who's the better quarterback? Then what you need to do is you need to walk out. They won't even realize you left the room. They will just slap fight amongst themselves for an hour. So that's the state of Texas right now. I cannot say enough about TCU's level of play. Just the overall level of play from the program in general. The Big 12 conference has been kind of a competitive shooting gallery all year long. You've got one perfect team, record-wise, left out there. But Texas goes to Kansas State, like I talked about, and they beat them. TCU goes to Texas yesterday. TCU beats them. Kansas State goes to Baylor and just wipes Baylor. And what is the net result of all this? To show you how even this is, to show you how unpredictable this is in the eyes of odds makers week to week. After all that, you take your transitive property, you throw it out the window. TCU goes to Baylor. That TCU team that you see rolling, they go to the same Baylor team that just lost 31-3 yesterday, 4-loss Baylor, and TCU is a 3-point favorite. Where have you seen that most recently? I'll tell you exactly where. LSU at Arkansas. How'd that game play out yesterday? So, any given week now, any given Saturday, well, every given Saturday as it turns out, you could have blowouts out there. It just should be emphasized that you hit the reset button every Sunday morning and anything could occur the following week. But congratulations, although there's still work to be done, congratulations to Sonny Dykes and TCU. And now, although there are still games left, I don't know what the talk is going to sound like around Austin. I can guess what the talk is going to sound like around Austin this week. I think there are positives that can be taken away. I like to do this at the end of a season, so I'm not going to go down this road wholesale right now. But Texas goes to Kansas this week. They've got Baylor after that. Easily winnable, easily losable. They're classic Big 12 2022 games. Right now, Texas is 6-4. They missed out on a bowl game last year. So, I mean, even if they split the difference here and they go 7-5, it's technically an improvement over last year. They could go 8-4, and it's a solid improvement over last year. Now, the problem is, you just remember that they were the preseason favorite to go to the Big 12 championship game, and as it turns out, that was pretty unrealistic, or maybe it wasn't, depending on your point of view. Point is, you can fall short of your stated goals and still see improvement. We're about to find out where ultimately Texas is there. Guys, thanks for watching Late Kick. Make sure and leave a comment. I love interacting with you. But most of all, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. That's how we keep all of this free.